All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I briefly talked about yesterday, and that is the gigantic Ethereum gas payment that happened. So basically, somebody paid 2,100 Ethereum for just a zero point 0.1 Ethereum transaction, which is just $14. And for that fee, a $380,000 fee. And so it was only one of two possibilities. One was that it was an accident using a much older wallet version or something like that, where you just accidentally put in a whole bunch of gas to send your transaction. But the actual reality is the probability of that is extremely low. And then the other one is money laundering. So Ethereum has again shown transaction fees did far exceed the block rewards. Ethereum revealed, Etherscan revealed such instances, in one case the amount reaching 2,100 Ethereum, which I talked about, and some people have found some other ones with 420 Ethereum and 210 Ethereum just for the transaction fee. So in the past, wallet mistakes or attempts to speed up payments have led to high fees, with initial coin offerings. The need to push the transaction has led to relatively high fees. In this case, however, Reddit users suggest that this may be a form of money laundering. So a transaction fee is received by the miner producing the block that contains the transaction in question. The analysis shows that it is possible for a miner to generate a high-fee transaction and then receive the funds again later. This type of transfer is seen as a form of laundering, since the source of the funds is now obscured. And the problem with such laundering is including the transaction in a block that will go to a known miner and probably to verify to the very same entity that issued the transaction. Collusion with mining pools or other connections with miners were also seen as possible as well. So the most probable mechanism involves a miner including the high fee transaction in a potential block, but not broadcasting it. And the miner will then also wait until solving a block, meaning the high fee transaction will be included and valid. After it's mined, it will also be confirmed by nodes. The Reddit thread also suggested that this type of high-fee movement of funds may be used to hide stolen Ethereum, including assets grabbed in hacks, and hypothesis even suggested attempts to clear the funds of the recently closed Quadriga, although there's not particularly much evidence that is the case, but it's certainly a possibility. Who knows? More likely just hacked Ethereum or just some kind of criminally involved Ethereum. A similar situation occurred with Ethereum Classic when a single block held a 400 Ethereum transaction fee, Ethereum Classic, and the suspicion transfer happened shortly after the 51% attack on the ETC network, also suggested of an attempt to hide funds. The possibility of laundering Ethereum opens up new doors to hiding funds from scams or emptying wallets fast. However, such moves are also partially traceable, although more difficult compared to issuing a direct transaction. So this is somewhat relatively new, where people just take all of their Ethereum that is associated with some kind of hack or criminal incident or something like that, and then you just make it so that the gas is 21 Ethereum just to send your tiny little transaction, and then you later mine that back. So speaking of that, on to the next article here. Sparkpool to freeze mysterious 2,100 Ether mining payout for now. So cryptocurrency mining pool Sparkpool has said it is temporarily freezing a mysterious 2,100 Ether payment, quite coincidental, it received Tuesday, and is waiting for the sender to reach out for a solution. I better reach out for that solution, huh? Maybe get that 2,100 Ethereum. The transaction was received as an apparent reward for mining just one block on the Ethereum blockchain, but the amount is roughly 600 times the network's standard block reward. The company notified its collective of miners in a statement on Wednesday that it will hold the Ether, currently worth $300,000 for now, in case the abnormally high mining fee was attached in error. Sparkpool has recently mined a block with a 2,100 Ethereum mining reward, which was an anomaly that triggered our internal emergency mechanism, the company said, and we have temporarily frozen this fee and are waiting for the sender to contact us for a solution. If the sender does not reach out in the next few days, Sparkpool will then allocate the fees to miners who are entitled for the reward. So, the CEO of Sparkpool told CoinDesk via WeChat that the pool is holding the funds given the significant amount involved, and that the firm's users and miners understand the decision. So if nobody claims this, apparently it'll just be distributed to the miners, which I'm sure nobody will mind that. Unfortunately and fortunately, blockchain is so far not completely run by machines. Humans are still involved, so we have an opportunity to correct the problem. Sparkpool received the 2100 Ethereum after mining block number 7,238,290 on the Ethereum blockchain. Since then, users have suggested such activity could be a random fluke when one or perhaps several users accidentally attached abnormally high transaction fees to their payments. Others said it could also be goodwill from anonymous supporters of the Ethereum mining community, or even an attempt to launder money via the world's second largest public blockchain. So all these, make sense. Somebody could have accidentally put an abnormally high fee in their transaction. That's certainly possible, but that person would also have to own well over $300,000 worth of Ethereum, which kind of lowers the probability of that happening. And then anonymous goodwill from supporters of the Ethereum mining community? Possibly, but again, I'm going to give that one a really low probability. I'm going to assume that it's mostly money laundering. That's probably the highest probability of what happened here. So, however, subsequent analysis by Blockchain Analytics said Amber data suggests yesterday's abnormal block payout was likely an automated bot that went wrong. Could be as well. I don't believe it was an attempt at money laundering because the same error happened 5 times within a couple hours, and different mining pools were the lucky recipients of the transaction fees. So maybe somebody was trying to money launder and they didn't quite understand how it works too well. But because the same error happened 5 times within a couple hours, kind of leads me to believe that it was on purpose. Because I figure if you made a mistake and sent $300,000 of Ethereum as a transaction, you might just stop and be like, oh man, I just lost $300,000. I'm not going to do that again. And likely there probably wouldn't be any transactions from you for a little while you figure that out. You know what I'm saying? As shown on Amber Data's blockchain, 4 other transactions outside of the one paying 2100 Ethereum reward miners a combined total of roughly 1,890 Ethereum. They occurred on block number blah, blah, blah. The first 3 of these transactions, as listed, were paid out to Mining Pool Nanopool, and the 4th to Ethermine. So, very interesting situation here. If I ever find out the actual cause of this, I will make sure to put that in that daily video. But for now, I'd like to assume that it was money laundering. Maybe they had some kind of system set up where they would, get the money back. But apparently that didn't work because Sparkpool is holding on to that 2100 Ethereum. And the thing is, if they come forward saying, "Oh yeah, that was my 2100 Ethereum," well then they're kind of going to know where it came from, and they'll know that key, and it would kind of disrupt your money laundering situation now that it's completely public. So probably not the best way to do it at all. I would just sooner like shapeshift it or something into Monero, even though I think Shapeshift has KYC now. So either way, I'm sure there's other ways. Elon Musk, this is all over the internet. He's talking about Bitcoin, and everybody listens to Elon Musk no matter what he says. He's a strange guy, but quite intelligent. Elon Musk Bitcoin structure is brilliant, but it's not for Tesla. So, sorry, Elon Musk may like Bitcoin, but Tesla isn't getting involved with cryptos anytime soon. Nevertheless, the CEO of SpaceX believes Bitcoin has its pros and cons. And on a podcast with ARK Invest, Musk explained that Bitcoin and Tesla simply don't mix. Bitcoin's structure is brilliant, but I don't think it'd be a good use of Tesla's resources to get involved in crypto. As noted by CNBC, Musk made note of Bitcoin's fundamental value propositions as a decentralized currency capable of undermining traditional financial institutions and fiat currencies. However, he also participated in the common rhetoric that the market-leading crypto is perhaps too energy intensive. Perhaps. Paper money's going away, and crypto is a much better value for a transfer of value than pieces of paper, but it has its pros and cons. It's very energy intensive to create Bitcoin at this point. And I kind of agree. I'm not sure if proof of stake is necessarily ready yet either, but at the very least, the amount of resources that go into Bitcoin sort of dictate its price in a way. It's not necessarily true. It could easily bomb to $1. It could easily go up to $1 million, but I think the idea is that if you have to have so much electricity, you're not really going to want to sell it for anything less than it took you to mine it, including all of the materials that you bought, all the ASICs, all of the hardware, your rent for your factory that you're mining in, your warehouse, if you will, all the AC, the electricity that goes into it, all the logistics, paying people out, and you just don't want to pay you don't want to sell your crypto for a loss. Of course, when you do the math, you can't sell it for less than blah blah blah, so you're not going to. And that's kind of the way it is all around the world. The only problem is that all around the world there's wildly varying electricity prices, and so some people won't sell it for less, some people are willing to sell it for less. But either way, I think the point is that all of that money that goes into Bitcoin kind of dictates its price, in the fact that there's a lot of energy and a lot of real work going into it, and therefore you can't really sell it for less than the work that it took you to go into it. Otherwise, that would be pretty pointless, unless you just had to sell for a loss because of the bear market, yada yada. But either way, get what I'm saying. So Musk famously tweeted about Bitcoin on October 23rd when he asked if anyone wants to purchase the first and foremost crypto with an anime illustration, and as noted by CNBC, the tweet got Musk's account temporarily suspended, which I made a video on a little while ago. I just said some stupid anime and want to buy some Bitcoin. I don't know what that's from, but want to buy some Bitcoin. I do, Elon Musk. So meanwhile, Binance CEO CZ recently called upon Musk to take the now famous Lightning Torch, a relay transaction circulating through the Lightning Network since January. However, the enigmatic CEO of SpaceX did not answer the call, much to the dismay of Bitcoin proponents and Lightning Network early adopters everywhere. So the Lightning Network torch that's been going around on Twitter, and you put a Satoshi into it, and then you ask somebody else to put a Satoshi into it, and they just keep passing it on while nobody actually takes that out. So what do you think of the Elon Musk claim that he won't get involved with Bitcoin anytime soon? Not my problem. I really don't... I don't blame the guy. He's already a millionaire, billionaire. I literally don't know how much Elon Musk is worth, but when you're worth that much, you don't really need to bother so much. Plus, he's already busy, way busy. I don't know if you've ever seen the interviews of the guy, but he always looks really stressed out because he's so busy with SpaceX and Tesla and every other endeavor that he's doing. So not really particularly surprising. But still, good news for Bitcoin when people say that it's good. So the SEC is now reviewing 2 Bitcoin ETF proposals. So ETFs could help Bitcoin, could help the institutionalization of Bitcoin. Again, me personally, not a fan of it, but I suppose if it raises the price, I'm just going to capitulate, probably along with everybody else. So for the first time since August, there are now multiple Bitcoin exchange-traded funds proposal sitting before the SEC. So the proposal filled with CBOE BZX exchange has now appeared on Wednesday's edition of the Federal Register, officially kicking off the 45-day clock to an initial decision. It joins another Bitcoin ETF proposal filed by Bitwise Asset Management, which was published in the Register last week. So the SEC has essentially 45 days to approve or disapprove of something, and if they don't do it within the 45 days, it's automatically approved. But that does not mean that 2 days later, they could be like, you are unapproved, right? So if the SEC does nothing for 45 days, you can automatically kind of go through with what you were doing. However, that doesn't mean it was approved. I know, it just blows your mind, right? So you could go through with it, the ETF, but then, a week later, the SEC could be like, whoa, this isn't cool. We are disapproving you, and you would have to shut down your operation. So you're kind of like in a neutral zone, in limbo when that happens. So at least it's moving along. So the director of digital asset strategy at VanEck told CoinDesk via email that he believes a Bitcoin ETF will serve the public interest if approved, and I'm sure the interest of the institutions as well. Exactly why not a big fan. The company has been actively working with regulators as well as other major market participants to bring simplicity, transparency, and professional market standards to digital assets. So he's hoping that this collaboration will bring a regulated product with exposure to digital assets to market going forward. And he says, I hope that our investment in regulatory and market education, hard work, and commitment will be honored when the time comes. So it might just be the proposals themselves which secure an approval. So Bitwise global head of research told CoinDesk that the crypto ecosystem is evolving very rapidly, which may aid in getting a product launched. A year ago, there was maybe one qualified crypto custodian, and now there are half a dozen, and that number will go up from there. And this is not the only example. A number of advances and new products have entered the space in a relatively short period of time. So kind of like the Game of Thrones, but it's like we're on season like season 3 now, and the dragons are going to come in season 4, and I don't know if they actually came in season 4. I don't know. They're kind of in season 1, but then were they flying by then? I don't know. We're in season 3, and the dragons are going to just go with it. The dragons are going to come in season 4, so we're pretty close. Backed Futures is coming. ETFs are pretty close. The SEC has to make decisions here pretty soon, and we are actually moving along now for once. So I'd say by the end of this year, we're probably going to have some Bitcoin ETFs, and backed futures, but maybe not over the summer. There's probably still a lot of things to go over, but we'll see. I'd like to be proven wrong on that and have them come even earlier. But are they actually going to raise the price of crypto, or are they just going to tame its volatility and sort of make crypto trade sideways, essentially for the end of time, on other than very small gains and maybe small increases and decreases, etc. So it's hard to say. Also, with these institutions, they have no way to combat this wild manipulation unless they combat it themselves. And so if the institutions make their own exchanges and use bots, etc., to combat the wild fluctuations, the arbitrage trading of all the current exchanges like Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and all these current exchanges won't be able to arbitrage so well, because they'll have to sort of commit to everybody. When one exchange wildly fluctuates, arbitrage kind of kicks in, and people will go there to sell their crypto, and then when it goes way down, people will go there to buy their crypto and send it somewhere else. But if one is really flat and doesn't really move so much, then I think the other exchanges are going to kind of follow suit, and it'll never really be able to go to too much extremes, except maybe on one exchange for a little while, and then it'll just get flattened back out. So we'll have to see what institutions actually do for crypto. Is it really going to raise the price? And if they do raise the price significantly, yeah, sure, you could sell off, get a good payment, great, you got your fiat money now, which, I guess you were just involved in fiat in the entire time anyway. Either way, you sell, you make a bunch of money, and you're never really going to be able to buy in when it goes even further, and when the world starts more and more and more using crypto, and it starts to become harder and harder to actually use fiat. So, a lot of questions in the future. So we were at 134 billion market cap. We just dipped under 135 last I refreshed, and we're nearly back at that 135 mark. So we've been trading sideways here for a couple days. Nothing too crazy. Still 51.7%, but still some slow growth. So we haven't dipped from those obvious whale purchases. The other one's probably about 10 days back. If you could just move this back a little bit more, you'll see that jump. And then this jump here as well. So Litecoin is doing really well, and I think that's because of the hype of its halvening, which is, I think, in November. Don't take my word for that, but it's sometime at the end of this year. And so people are probably trying to buy in now and get it while it's cheap. And once it halves, a few months later, it might start sparking, demand a little bit more. But that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. That helps me out a lot. My social media in the description below. My Steam, my Twitch, my Twitter. Follow me on those if you get the opportunity. And that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.